2 years ago, I gave a TEDx talk in Christchurch, New Zealand. And I have had 2 million viewers. And my life has changed. And I have to describe to you what I was trying to do during the TEDx, what did I say, and then what has been the result of 2 million viewers. And who has been the people who have responded to what I said? What I wanted to say was that we white people are incredibly arrogant. So what I said was that we are imperialists, colonialists, and missionaries, and the only two ways we treat people is either in a patronizing or paternalistic way. That went down very well. Then I told the story to make the point of how stupid we are. I made the point of my first project in Africa, where we taught Zambian people how to grow Italian vegetables, because I was working for an Italian NGO. And as soon as the tomatoes were nice and ripe, the hippos came out of the river and they ate everything. So because of that, because I was admitting how incredibly stupid we Italians were, people who have seen that video, that TED Talk, have come to me now telling me what they've done. And it's fantastic because they write to me, they get in touch with me, and they said, let me tell you what we did. And one of the nicest story from the Peace Corps, American Peace Corps guy in Guatemala. He said to me, Ernesto, we arrived in this village, and this village had fantastic agriculture, but they could not trade with their neighbors because there was a pretty rough river, and they couldn't trade across the river. So we arrived there and we said, we are going to build you a bridge. And the local people said, you cannot build a bridge here. And we said, what do you mean? We are the Peace Corps, we are Americans, we are going to build you a bridge here. So the local people said, okay, show us. He said, Ernesto, was so hard because on the other side of the river was jungle. We had to build ramps. You know how you build a bridge. You have one ramp on one side, one ramp, and then you span the bridge. So we went through the jungle, we had to make our roads, and we built this massive, earth embankment. And we just finished, months later, we finished this ramp. And when they finished the ramp, the rainy season came, and the river shifted its banks 1 mile. So we had the ramp over nothing. And people said, but the guy said, what really kills me, Ernesto, is that in 4,000 years' time, there will be an American anthropologist going through the jungle of Guatemala and will come across the ramp. And he will say, I wonder what the indigenous people do. It's an astrological device. And he's pointing at Orion. So now I'm absolutely convinced that Stonehenge is an American Peace Corps project. Quite not finished. So, when as a young student I came here in 1979, and I met fabulous, Peter Newman was my professor. He's a wonderful guy. And Peter said to me, Ernesto, what do you want to do? And I said, look, what I want to do, I want to demonstrate that there is a universal characteristic of humanity. Every single man, every single woman, at any given time in their lives, want to improve themselves. And this I learned from humanistic psychology, Carl Rogers, Abraham Maslow, Eric Fromm, the Jungians. And I studied psychology, and I said, look, why for once don't we shut up and listen to them? What a novel concept. Yeah. So I said, well, what do you want to do? I said, let's demonstrate that instead of trying to motivate people, which is behavioristic crap that doesn't work, because have you ever tried to motivate your kids? If you can't, it's impossible. All this behavioristic stuff doesn't work, okay? So we said, why don't, instead of trying to motivate people, why don't we find out what they love to do, And then we help them do beautifully what they love to do. So simple. So we did a little project in Fremantle, the Shoemakers Cooperative. We helped people who had a passion for leather work to learn to make orthopedic shoes. Peter and I would go down there just to watch them. We would clean the workshop just to observe the most extraordinary thing. What happens when somebody's passionate is like somebody thirsty. Imagine you giving a glass of water to somebody thirsty. Would he drink it? So these young Fremantle people in 1 year were making orthopedic shoes that it takes 4 years for an apprentice to learn to do. That became the Fremantle Shoemakers Cooperative. And Peter said, why don't we do this for an entire community? That's how we organized to go down to Esperance. There was at that time in a very profound crisis because of the closure of the fishing industry by the government. And in 9 months, just listening to local people, I was working with 27 projects. The first business I helped to start was the smoked fish, and then we helped to export tuna to Japan. And so the government came around to say, Ernesto, this is incredible. How did you do this? And I said, well, I did something really hard. I shut up and listened to them. And then the government said, can you do it again? So I said, okay. So what we did, we organized, we invented this profession, Enterprise Facilitation. And what we would do, we would listen to the local people. We would become friends, listen to them, find out what they wanted to do. And then I would say, what part of the business can you do? So the fishermen say, oh, well, we can catch the fish. Do you know about marketing? No. Are you going to stop fishing to go and sell it in Japan? No, I want to fish. So, okay. So I would find somebody to come down to Esperance and, say, can you help these people to sell the fish? So, David Leith from Perth comes down, gets the fish, introduces the tuna to the local market, takes the tuna to Singapore, then to Japan. He becomes a marketing person. And then I said to the fishermen, do you understand money? They said, no, look, we don't work together. It's the first time. You're the only one who got the 5 of us to talk, but we don't share financial information. I said, why? You're going broke. What kind of money? You have no money. So I said, we need to make money. So I convinced them to speak to somebody in Esperance who understood money. The wife of one of the fishermen has been working at the Westpac Bank for 13 years. She was a CPA. We got her to resign the job, join the company as the chief financial officer. The first year, she had to look after $5.4 million because now we were exporting tuna to Japan. So what I did, I started to do this all over Western Australia. So we had enterprise facilitators in 16 communities, then to 36, now it's down to 20. They changed name, now it's called BEC. But I invented this kind of idea that you shut up and listen to local people. And then you ask them, you say, what can you do in the business? Whatever you cannot do, we'll help you to find somebody who can do it. But then there was this terrible, terrible thing that I started to believe that I was quite good with entrepreneurship until one day I read a business magazine. And this business magazine was in 1987, the first time ever that I bought a copy of Fortune. I discovered that there were these heroes, these geniuses, these superhuman beings in places like Silicon Valley, where at 23 years of age, they were fantastic in coming up with a new product. They have geniuses with marketing. They were absolutely maverick with financial management. And I thought, well, if I keep working in Western Australia, in Victoria, in New Zealand, working with all these people, sooner or later, I'm going to meet somebody like this. Because I thought that I wasn't working for entrepreneurs. I thought that I was working with the entrepreneurially challenged people of the world, like people who could not do everything. And I thought one day I will meet a real entrepreneur, somebody who has a passion for the product, somebody who has a passion for the marketing, somebody who has passion for financial management, who can learn to set up this gigantic, beautiful company. But what happens is that all my enterprise facilitators in New Zealand, we had 71, in Victoria 10, in Western Australia we had at one stage 36. When I would ask them, have you ever met somebody who can make it, sell it, and look after the money with equal passion. They said, Ernesto, we never met somebody like that. We do what you did in Esperance. We ask, which part of the business can you do? What can I help you to do? And I said, how unlucky are we? How come only the Americans in Silicon Valley have the people who can do everything? So let me go there. So I went to America, I now live in California. And when I arrived there, I said, let me find out how this breed of superhuman people, couldn't find them. So I said, let me find out about some evidence of the... So what I did, I locked myself in one of the best public libraries in Minnesota, and I read 100 books about the creation of 100 of the most iconic companies in the world. And when I read the biographies, I discovered one thing. None of the greatest companies in the world has been started by one person. None. I have found the names of the people who could say no to Edison, Carnegie, Westinghouse, Ford, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. None was alone. So what the hell? What is all this crap about these superhuman beings? You know? Sam Walton set up Walmart? No, it was Sam, his wife Helen, and Helen's father. They set up the first shop. Why don't we tell the truth? So guess who has come back to me in these 2 years? Thousands upon thousands of millennials. They're 20 to 30 years old. The most extraordinary generation that we have ever witnessed. The new Victorians. The 20 to 30 years old are going to invent everything to move our civilization forward for the next 200 years. They are an unbelievable generation. They want to do well, but they want to do good. They believe in entrepreneurship. And now they're coming to me to say, teach us the truth. They said to me, can you please come and put a bomb under the Faculty of Business in my university? Because they are teaching us the same crap that has created the global financial crisis. It's crap. So students from 7 universities in the world, from Berkeley to the best university in Africa, they are saying to me, please teach us the truth about entrepreneurship. There is a fundamental difference between an entrepreneur and a manager. The entrepreneur is an explorer. The manager is a settler. You cannot give the same instruction to an explorer. He doesn't even know if there is land to be found. Don't tell him to carry oxen and plows and seeds, because the guy does not even know, and the woman does not even know if there is land there. Once the land has been discovered, get the settler, get the manager to settle the land, but give explorers what they need. And you know what explorers need? Explorers need, look, if you want to find out how to form your team, just read Ernest Shackleton's story. You need to have somebody who is your wing person. You have to have somebody who's always on your side. Number one, you need to have your mate. Like everybody in Silicon Valley, get your mate next to you. And then get people for the amazing skills and the difference that they can do in your team. You know what Ernest Shackleton asked the only scientists that joined his team? He asked them, can you sing? And he was a biologist, marine biologist. The guy said, why? Why do I have to sing? You see, because every night our team sings. And if you cannot sing, get out of here. Form a team with people who are different from you. Product has to be beautiful, marketing has to be beautiful, financial management has to be beautiful. The people who can help you are different from you. Form a team of passionate people who see the world differently. Form the team. And once you have the team, make sure that you can sing together. Thank you very much. Thank you.